another episode of Who Let the Moms Out.
Woo, 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 woo.
This
That
is
was
a
a good one.
podcast by moms for moms. We're all about having honest conversations and normalizing all topics of things that we want to talk about. And some of them will be really interesting, really insightful about businesses or entrepreneurship or, how to deal with our kids. And some of it will just be nonsense because let's face it, in this season and all seasons of life, we have to be a little silly. So today,
Yes,
we are
it
going
helps
to
us.
talk about unreasonable fears that we have as moms. And I'm so excited for this episode because we're trying something new where we're just going to be asking each other questions and the other person doesn't know what question we're going to be asking. So, without further ado, go ahead.
Hello. Oh, welcome. All right. So before I go on to my question, I just want to remind you guys, if you want to share anything, any topic you want us to talk about, or anything, any story that you want to share with us, you just head over to our Instagram, who let the moms out pod, and just send us a message. If you want it to be anonymous, just let us know and we'll keep it all anonymous. We don't have to share names or anything, but don't forget to hit us up. Okay, so my first question for you on your biggest fear, like what is your biggest fear as a mother? Like once you became a mom, like that's the thing that you always like, I'm so scared.
I mean, obviously, it's my daughter dying, right? So, like,
Yeah.
something happening to her, like, but I think it's bigger than that. Like, I mean, I have like crazy fears every day. We talked about this the other day. We're
Yeah, yeah.
both like the panicky type. So like, we always think the worst. But I think my biggest fear is her, yeah, it's her dying. Like when I drop her off anywhere, I don't drop her off in a lot of places. Like she just goes to like this little like 3 times a week situation, school thing or like play thing and or like leaving her there, it's super, super stressful for me because I'm always like, like in a school setting, it's fine, but like she goes a lot to like this parks where she's outdoors, and I'm just like, well, what if she like
Yeah.
falls from like the stairs or like from the slide or yeah, this is always a fear. And we actually had one of our craziest fear sort of realized the other day. We were driving and she was eating tomatoes and she started like vomiting crazy. Like she was complaining about the flavor of the tomato and she started vomiting. But like it looked like she was choking and we were in the middle of the highway going
Oh yeah.
downhill and we had to like pull up on this. It was so dangerous too. We pulled up in the middle of the road, like we just panicked and we went to the side, but it's in a place where there was really
Yeah.
no side and it was just like, oh my God. Like that is just so scary, that fear of like something happening to them and you not being able to do anything. I think that's
Yeah.
bigger fear than something happening and you not knowing, like if they call you and they said, okay, something happened to your kid, like obviously that would be the worst thing ever. But you being there and not being able to do something, that's a new
Yeah.
one that I just, ah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly me as well. Is just like I'm always scared of the things I can't. Like I'm not being there or not being able to do something about it because I don't know. Yeah, it's always like that thing in behind my mind. Everything I do is like, oh, what if I don't know how to, resuscitate from that, or
mm-hmm.
just not being there. It's like that's why it's like always very like you feel with anxiety whenever you drop them off because it's just
Yeah.
like, oh my god, what if something happens and I'm not there to help?
And I've
So,
taken like I've done a lot of like I've watched a lot of videos and like trained myself and like CPR and stuff like that. Like I have some knowledge. I know how to like do the time leg and all that stuff. Like it's not like I'm just like fearing it and not doing
yeah,
anything about
same.
it. But even then I feel like I would just freak out and not know how to act or what to do. And that's the
Yeah, it's also like a thing like, will I act or will I just
panic,
freeze and panic?
freeze.
Right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna react as well if something like this happens. That's why it's always like daunting, like fear. That it's always like, and like I don't know.
Okay, I have a good one for you. What
Yeah,
is the most fearful situation you've experienced as a mom that you never expected to bring you that much fear, right? So like how we're talking about like the scariest things that could happen, well, something that happened to you that was really scary that you never thought was going to be that scary until it happened.
I think it was actually similar to your thing that like the vomiting thing. So like
Mm,
the like recently, like actually. I think it was like last year. It happened while we were in the highway, and we had like basically exactly the same thing that you had to do. Like we had to put to the side, but this is like a 120-kilometer motorway, and it's just like we shouldn't have done that at all. And he was fine anyway. Like we shouldn't have done it, but like the fear of him choking, and I was just like being there. Like it's actually I'm right here, and I can't move because I'm in the car, and the car is moving, and everything is moving, and then you're just there like trying to vomit, and I could only hear you going, "Ugh," and it's like, oh my god, I can't do anything. I can't do anything. It's like,
And you don't
oh,
know if it's
that's
coming
like the
out or getting stuck
yeah, or
in.
stuck.
Oh.
Ugh. And like yeah, that was like my biggest thing. I should have just jumped to the back, but also like the jumping to the back and Matt is driving, it's just so stressful. And it's that's it. Like it's just being in the situation and not knowing what to do as well. Like I and then when we went to the airport now in December, and he was projectile vomiting, and I was like sat next to him, but then like. Where is it going? Like I didn't prepare for this. He wasn't sick like
Right.
a few hours ago. This is just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't have a plastic bag. I don't have anything, and I just like literally caught it with my hand, and then I was like this with vomit for 2 minutes, which is like, "Ugh, I'm gonna die myself. Ugh, we're in traffic. Ugh, what am I
And
gonna do?"
you get sick so easily too. Like
Yeah,
you're
I was like,
easily
I was literally
triggered.
dying. I was literally like gagging so much for the last 2 minutes, and my hands were filled with
I,
vomit, and I was just, oh no, I
and then
cannot.
you had to go on a flight.
Yeah, and then we had to go on a flight, and then he shat his pants as well. So that was a whole ordeal of a day.
Yeah, so like we were when it happened to us, we were on our way to like we were taking her to the Keiki Museum, which is the kids museum where she goes once a week or whatever. And like she had just put on this cute outfit that she picked. She was so excited. And then my husband
Oh,
recently bought a new car and it's a BMW and he's obsessed. I've never seen this guy. Like we're the kind of people that like, we go to the beach and we just like, our car always looks like a closet.
yeah,
There's like
actually, imagining
towels.
Roger being caring for a car is like, what?
Yeah. We
No,
are the kind of people that
I
our
never
cars
thought
are
that was a
just,
thing.
yeah, full of things. Like, we're like not the kind of people that are like detail. We don't even take a car to the washer. This man, every time we come home, he goes in and he like takes the vacuum and like, like he's so into his new car. And I swear to you, there was vomit every which way. Like, and she sits behind
Oh,
him. So there's like vomit like all over his seat and like all over the chair and the new car seat that we just got and the straps. And then same as you, like Alaska never like this is probably the third time in her entire life she's ever vomited. Like she just is not prone to vomiting. She eats really well and her stomach handles food really well.
yeah,
And this was just she kept saying the tomatoes there was a weird taste. So then I gave her water and then she continued to complain about the taste. And so then I gave her some raisins so that the sweet would, cancel out
yeah,
whatever
to help.
acidity. Because I think what happened is she's sick, so she had a little bit of phlegm. And I think the phlegm got caught with acidity and it just wasn't, I don't
Mm.
know.
Yeah,
All
she
I
probably has
know,
the, like those burps, that like stuff come up, like, and
yeah,
you get like that lingering taste. That probably what it was. Ugh,
yeah. And then
bless
like
her.
with the raisins, it was just
Yeah,
anyway.
everything.
But as you can imagine, and then she had like she had the bag of raisins open. So she like then I took the bag of raisins and it was full of vomit, but I didn't know where to put it. So it was just like this
And that's as
oh
well, like that's another thing, like the panic we go through, and like you're trying to do something, but you're like stuck in something is the worst thing. Like I had my hands, and I wanted obviously, like catch more vomit or I don't know, but I didn't. I don't know what to do. You're like,
roll the window, throw it out, like scoop out some more. It was just so awful. Like
oh,
luckily we were like 10 minutes from home, but it was like the longest ride. And then my daughter's very like she does not like being dirty. She does not enjoy
oh
her
my
hands being
god,
dirty, like even with
yeah.
food. So she was like, Mama, and I was like, there's nothing I can do. Just hold on, just hold on, just
Panic.
hold. I'm like
Same
holding
can care less.
a Ziploc bag with like vomit and raisins. And Roger's like panicking, probably thinking of having to clean his car. And then Alaska's like upset because her entire new outfit is covered in vomit in her hands.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
just
yeah.
like,
Bless her. Yeah.
it's like it was the funniest like it was the scariest first, but then the funniest like afterwards when we figured out she
Yeah.
was gonna be fine, like it was just like it's so gross.
It's like, oh my god, I'm at the worst nightmare. But then, like, once everything is fine, you're like, oh, look at a funny story that just happened. When
Yeah,
everyone is fine and breathing and
I feel like that's the entire concept of motherhood. It's like
Yeah,
you're gonna freak out, you're gonna panic, and then you're gonna tell the story like it's the funniest thing that happened to you.
yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's like you're
And I
poop in
did,
the
I did. I
restaurant.
counted that. Yeah, uh,
Yeah.
yeah. My funniest answer jokes of all time. Next question. What was or has been your weirdest intrusive thought on, like, the weirdest one that you've had that you're like, why the fuck did I just think that?
Her her dying in her sleep. Like
That
I
was the weirdest one.
actually, yeah, because it happens so often. I even last night. So last night she came to sleep in her bed, and I went to pee for like the 20th time, and I came back, and she was like sleeping, and she usually doesn't have her mouth open, but again because she's sick, I think she was like sleeping like this, and she was so still, and I just thought, oh my God. And so like I just put my hand in her chest, and I remember when she was tiny, when she was a baby, she actually slept really good for the first like 2 months, almost three, and then that's when the craziness started. She had like a sleep regression that lasted like 3 years, but
Still going on.
oh God. um no, I had a realization yesterday that I actually think I don't I think the problem with her sleep is not her, it's me. Like she sleeps 12 hours at night, 11, 12 hours straight. She doesn't wake up, and when she does, it's just to drink water, or she goes straight back to bed, or she just comes to our bed and that's it. Like there's no battling at night. There's nothing crazy. Once I remove the naps, there's no battling for sleep either. Like it's fine. It's just that it bothers me
Yeah.
that she wakes up before 7, which is biologically normal for a toddler. But I think it's just me. Like I'm just like, it's too early.
It's
especially
nighttime.
especially when I wake up almost at 6 or past 6. So normally I wake up at 5. But if I'm waking up at like 6 and she's waking up at 6:30, then it's like, ugh. So we
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel that.
we had a breakthrough yesterday about this topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
But anyway,
really good though. That's really good to reach that conclusion.
yeah, like
A happier version of it.
we've decided that we're done with this craziness because it's mornings of fighting with her, so she can stay in the room. Yesterday was like, ah.
It was
So
just the last straw.
that's just a different episode altogether. That's gonna be a really funny one as well. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think I think the fear of her dying in her sleep, like, and I don't know where that comes from because it's highly unlikely for a healthy child to just like stop living. But I think when you are a brand new mom, like I read so many things and so many
Yeah.
contradictory researched information on the whole SIDS, like sleeping and whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like in Cuba, or like in a lot of the Hispanic world and in Europe as well, children sleep on their tummies, and that's babies, right? And that's okay. But in the U.S., it's like 100% your child should be on their back. And my husband and I, when she was born, we had this whole thing of like, like he was really adamant that she should be on her back, and I was like, she sleeps better on her side or facing forward. And like we just had this back and forth of how to put it. I remember because he goes to sleep so much later than me, and back then we used to live in a tiny home, so he would like gawk. Like I remember waking up several times with him like gawking over us, making sure she was alive, like because she was like in the little sleeper next to me, but she was like facing sideways or something, and he's like sticking his finger to make sure she's alive, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like you're gonna wake her up? Like stop. But I would do that all the time. I would wake up in the middle of the night and just like, oh, you know how they say never wake up a baby to like breastfeed. But I remember the first, like, I think it was the second night, she went like 5 hours without breastfeeding. And I was told that like it was like every 2 hours. I was like, like, do I wake her? Is she alive? Oh my God. And I think that's just like a recurring fear. Yeah. Sometimes I see her sleeping peacefully and I'm just like, is she dead? You know?
Yes, I know. I feel you. I feel you. It's just so hard. Like I do that still. Like some nights because I know that he wakes up at least once. So I would go like, he didn't wake up. Oh, maybe let me go check. Let me check if he's sleeping, if he's breathing. Let me go check. It's just like, yeah, that's always a fear.
Okay. What is the scariest thing you ever did to your parents that if your child did that to you, you would like lose your mind? Like the scariest thing that you did as a child that you think, oh my God, like that would be so scary if my child did it to me.
Um, I don't know actually. Because I was always very cautious. Like I've never like really tried like anything crazy, too crazy. I did once rode my bicycle and someone had ridden before me and the brakes were off. And when I came home, I literally like was going downhill and just like went against the wall because I couldn't brake and just like got all scraped and everything. And I think if my kid was coming home like I was, like all broken, like full of blood bleeding out, like I'd probably be really scared of that. Like, just seeing him hurt and I wasn't there and type thing. Which it has happened with Flynn already. Like he has fallen so many times that
Yeah,
you
I
kind of
don't.
like build up to it.
Yeah,
But it's always just that scary feeling of getting hurt away, like away from me, and I'm not there, and I can't do like it's the. I think for me is literally like not physically being able to help you. Like
right,
because even
right.
when I'm there, sometimes I can't even help him because he's just too far, or just doing, like he's a
Or too
wildling,
fast.
and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's just too fast. That is just always, I feel so guilty afterwards, like if he gets hurt and I could have helped him. Or even the other time, actually, I helped him while he was falling and I tried to catch him and I hurt him even more, like open his lip
Ay,
open,
that's
everything.
the worst. You try to help
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
I made everything even worse. And it was just like he cried and everything. I cried because, I made it worse, but it was because I was trying to help him. I can't. And
you're
then Matt's
both
like,
sitting
it's
there
fine,
crying.
you're fine. I was like, the worst mom in the world. Of course, the case. But yeah, it's just that's like it's always that fear. It's like I want to help, and like I don't know. I mentioned to you this a lot, but I also do this a lot like online. But like whenever I see Flynn fall, like everything in my body like shivers, like
Yeah,
from my
yeah,
butthole, like everything goes,
yeah.
and I
So
feel it like persistently.
I think I have a similar reaction when so when Alaska's sick, like when
Mm,
something so I'm super blessed. Let me knock on wood because I'm a little stitious. Like my daughter doesn't get sick very often. She's 3.5. I've never run. I've never even taken her to the doctor. Like we go for her general checkups like once a year, and that's it. Like there's never been an issue. Like there's never been a fever longer than a day. There's never ever ever. So that's obviously really good. But the downside, of course, because there has to be a freaking downside,
of course.
is that when anything happens, like whenever she like says like something hurts or whatever, like I panic because automatically I think she has a disease. Like she's been so healthy because her body's just like breaking from the
Oh,
inside out,
that.
and she's gonna like get a massive disease, just dying. So the other day, like 2 days ago, actually, um, she had a super fun day at the park, whatever. We came home and she went to poop, I think, and we have one of those toilet things with the bidet thing, like the
Yeah,
little sprayer. Um, and so like, Roger cleaned her and
very
she,
European of you, I might say.
yeah, I know, but it's so awesome, bro. Yeah, if you live in the US and you haven't tried this, like, please go to Amazon. They're like $20. It's not even that expensive. And it's such a nice thing to add to your toilet. It's just so great. Anyway, um, so he cleaned her and then like, I guess she peed and the way she screamed, Paula, it burned. She was like, it hurts. But the way she screamed, I was like, oh, I never heard her
Oh,
scream like that. And with a P, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. What if she has like some crazy, like, cancer in the vagina?
oh,
Like my mind is just like, so like I'm like reading and I'm like, okay, how long can I wait? Like, my thing is, because I'm a panicky person, like I'm always like, okay, how long can I wait before I take her to the doctor? And what can I do in the meantime, right? Like, I know I'm not gonna
oh
just
yeah,
run
that's
her to the
something I did too.
emergency. Yeah, because if it was for me, like, my God, I'm one of those like super pesty moms that like calling the pediatrician, like, and I don't want to be that person. So I'm like, okay, let me research it. Google will be my friend. Other moms will tell me, la la la. And then I read that like with UTIs, like you have to right away because they don't go on their own. And I was like, what? I've never heard of this. I've always removed my own UTIs on my own. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with my instinct. And I was like, I had some frozen cranberries, so I made her some juice. She drank the juice. By the next morning, nothing was there. But I swear to you, automatically I was like, oh, cancer in the vagina. Like,
But it is like you always go to the worst. Like I am like that as well. Like I'm honestly, it's just yeah. But I'm like
it's,
more like that to myself. But I kind of imagine like lesser like I've had the UTIs and it's just
but I don't think it was a UTI though, because to be fair, like, I mean, I've never heard of a UTI that goes away after one pee.
now it probably wasn't like full on. It was more like
I think
a
maybe she
clear
had
up.
soap. I think she had soap from the shower in the vagina, and then when she peed, it burnt or something. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, I'm just glad whatever it was, has gone. But I don't know why being a mom always comes with all this panic. And if you are
Yes.
listening to this, we want to know what your biggest fear is as a mom. Yeah, what is the most not biggest fear, because obviously I know for all of us it's like something happening, something catastrophic happening to our children.
More like
But like what
intrusive thought.
yeah, like your most irrational fear. Like in my case, like, she has a little UTI and I'm thinking she has cancer in the vagina. She's 3.5. Like what? What are the odds of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she probably just had soap in her vagina and a peanut to burn, and here I am thinking she has like terminal cancer in the vagina.
Yeah, exactly. She's just, yeah, she is gonna. She's a goner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so what is your craziest irrational mom thought fear that you can laugh at with us, but if you think about it alone in your couch at night, it can keep you up researching on WebMD, you know?
WebMD. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What is that one for you?
Well.
Don't forget, you can always find us on Instagram at Who Let the Moms Out that pod. We will meet there daily with fun reels and fun stories, but we will drop another podcast every single week. So stay tuned for the next one, and we'll see you next week. Thanks
Thank you
for
for listening.
listening. Bye.
Bye.